Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving, guys, and I decided to go live. You guys know during Thanksgiving, people don't normally sleep most of the time during Thanksgiving. And so I thought that I would use this as an opportunity to teach, to talk about how you can start a nonprofit with no money. The reason why is because I think people always say that the reason for the season, when we think about the holiday time, most people think about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Other people think about giving, and they think about philanthropy. Others, entrepreneurs, think about tax time and getting funding. So we're going to talk about basically how to get started, how to get money to start a nonprofit. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're watching this for the first time and you don't know who I am, my name is E.DeanCole and I own E.DeanCole Financial. We are a consulting firm and we specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. Now, all right, this is a live lecture. So when you saw the thumbnail, you saw that it was live. You saw how long it was. I don't know how long I'm gonna go tonight because it is Thanksgiving. So I know, but a lot of people are up, jamming to their music, listening to good old school music. Listen, if I come into your house for Thanksgiving and you cooking Thanksgiving and I don't hear no gospel music, I don't hear no old school music, I don't hear no soulful music, I ain't gonna eat your food. I'm just saying, I don't think, there is no way you can cook some good soul food. Like my grandmother, she used to cook to the blues. It's just embedded in me that if the music ain't jamming, then the food ain't gonna be jamming. Am I the only person that's like that? So if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to let me know. If you agree, I want you to say I agree. If you think I'm tripping, I want you to say you tripping. If you're watching on the replay, and even if you're watching me live right now, I want you to say I agree. You tripping. I know we're not gonna get that many people live, but because it's Thanksgiving morning, very, very early. Okay, you guys said you agree. Okay, now let me go ahead and do a shout out. So let me go ahead and look at myself, make sure my sound is good. Obviously my sound is good. You guys are responding to me, but let me see who all we got in the building. Give me a second, guys, while I look at this. Who all do we have in the building? Let's see how we sound. All right, we got 24 people watching live. Let me find out. How many people cooking right now? 24 people watching live. Okay, there we go. The sound is good, so we good. We good to go. We're good to go. So the first person to chime in the building was Robert Hunter. Hey, Robert, how are you doing? Chapito Hilton is in the building. Hey, Chapito, how are you doing? Chicago Hustler Zone, GZ is in the building. All the guys, because listen, the guys ain't cooking Thanksgiving dinner. a lot of the guys that are chiming in tonight. Sydney Maximilian is in the building. Hey, Sydney, how you doing? John Johnson says Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, John. Dayson Brown is in the building. Hey, Dayson, how are you doing? Dayson say he agree. Japito says they agree. All right, David says that they agree. Chicago Hustler says you agree. All right, Black Lee says make America trap again. Okay, Black Lee. Chapito says the sound is clear. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, guys, it's Thanksgiving, so I know people are listening to their music. Like I said, if you cooking soul food and the music ain't jamming, I'm like, if you listening to T.I., 9 times out of 10 ain't gonna eat your collard greens. If you listening to some Drake, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna eat your candied yams. But if you listening to some Luther or you listening to some Aretha, that food gonna turn out good. That's just what I think. That's just what I think, guys. But nevertheless, like I said, this is a live lecture, so this is very interactive. This is unlike anything you've ever seen before. So if you're catching this on the replay, you're like, Dean, hurry up and get to the point. This guy is talking too much. I am dealing with my individuals that are catching me live, okay? So, and this is a live lecture. So, you saw how live, you saw the video, you saw the thumbnail, you saw how long it was, hit the fast forward, hit the rewind, all that good stuff. So, it's interactive. So let's see, who is actually up cooking right now? Stevie is in the building. Hey, Stevie, how are you doing today? You got, David, you got your baby downstairs cooking. Listen, if you got the baby downstairs cooking, that's what I'm talking about, David. All right, so how many people right now, if you are up right now prepping, I want you to say up prepping. If you just chilling and everybody else is doing the hard work, then I want you to say chilling. I see a lot of the guys that are jumping on. I don't see many ladies because they chilling. So that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with it at all. So let's go ahead. So Nelson said that you up prepping, Nelson. That's good stuff. What you prepping, Nelson? What you doing? What you cooking on, Nelson? Nelson said that he's up prepping. All right. Phoebe is actually chilling. Hey, Phoebe, how are you doing? You the first young lady to chime in. So you chilling, Phoebe. Okay, I can appreciate that. I can respect that. All right. Tyreek says just chilling. That's good stuff. Dayson Brown is trucking. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you get into that money. Absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Out on the road, trucking. All right. So what I'm going to do is going to teach specifically. So this isn't a live Q&A. I just wanted to chime in and touch base with you guys. But I am going to teach specifically on how you're able to get funding to start a nonprofit. All right. So like I said, a lot of people talk about the reason for the season. Now, this is Thanksgiving Day. So some people in the African American diaspora do not celebrate Thanksgiving because of what it symbolizes. I'm not going to get into the political specificity of that. I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to talk about is just the idea of the giving season. A lot of times when we are around family, because now we're around family, for the ones that are around family, we're around our loved ones, we are around we're around charity organizations. Now let's do a temperature check. Now, even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to participate with me as if you're watching me live, okay? And the ones that are watching me live, I'm gonna need you to participate with me because I'm gonna feed off your energy. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but hey, it is what it is. So how many of you guys, be very honest, feel a lot more giving or charitable around the holidays? If you notice, you'll see a lot more coat drives. You'll see a lot of Toys for Tots because of Christmas. And you have, the turkey drive and the turkey giveaways. And I'm from the hood, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Vine City. I'm from where red house don't drip nor bleed in Atlanta, Georgia. And the biggest drug dealers would always pull up in the hood with the U-Haul truck, and they would just give out turkeys, They would just give out and be very benevolent during this time. If you feel that way, if you feel like, you're a lot more charitable, if you feel like you want to be a lot more giving during this time, I want you to say, I feel. 2 words. I feel. Yeah, 2 words. I feel. If you feel that way, I want you to say I feel. If you don't, if it's just, the same, and this is the thing, there is no right or wrong answer, There's no right or wrong answer. There are no if and buts. There's no if, ands, or buts. So if you don't feel benevolent during this time, if it's just a normal time for you, there's no wrong answer for that. But I do want to communicate, this is a live lecture, but I'm wanting to communicate with you. I want you to say it's the same. So if you feel, I want you to say you feel. If it's the same, I want you to say it's the same. A lot of time people do battle with suicide around this time of the year because people are feeling very nostalgic towards some of their family members. Like, I miss my grandmother. 90% of who I am as a man is because of the type of woman that my grandmother was. And I miss her a lot during this time, but it doesn't sting like it used to a long time ago. But there's still some family members that it does still sting because my grandmother was the glue. And we always had a mini family reunion around this time of the year. But so let's go ahead and see the people that are participating with me. All right, so let's see who's that. You doing the vegan Thanksgiving, Nelson? That's what I'm talking about. You doing the vegan Thanksgiving. All right, so Dayson said that you feel a lot more charitable. You see it and you feel it. I appreciate you. Thank you for participating. All right, love to give to the less fortunate. David says that you love to give to the less fortunate. Thank you so much for that. All right, so Only Black Lives Matter says, I get free turkeys today. You broke and you can't give back. Well, that's okay because you're on the other side of that. So that's good that you were able to get free turkey today. That's good stuff. Robert says that I feel very giving and love to donate food. That's good stuff, Robert. All right, Tammy Morton says that she feels. Sydney says that they feel. All right, Chicago Hustler says that you feel. That's good. Black Lee says that you're giving year round. That's great, Black Lee. That's how it should be. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So John says that you give all year long. That's good stuff. That's good stuff that you feel that way. All right, Casey says, yes, I feel. Yeah. Patrick is in the building. Hey, Patrick, how are you doing today, my man? All right, so Nelson said that you feel year round. That's good stuff. That's great that you feel year round. Now, for all of those people that said that they feel year round, that is phenomenal. But this, we're talking about how to start a nonprofit with no money. This time of year makes a lot of people think about wanting to give and give back. Like the individual said that they were broke and they wanted a turkey. This is the time that a lot of people think about wanting to create some type of nonprofit organization. I'm gonna start off by saying this. It is a miscalculated assumption that you have to be broke and own a nonprofit. When most people think of nonprofit, they think of no money, all right? So let's do a temperature check of the people that are watching me live. Now, like I said, it's not that many people that are watching me live because it's Thanksgiving morning, early Thanksgiving morning. So for the individuals that are watching on the replay, I want you to participate with me as well. And I'm gonna come back and answer all your questions and talk to you in the comments because it is Thanksgiving and I actually have a flight in the morning and I'm flying out. So I'm just in business mode right now because my baby is with her mother this year, and my mother and my brothers and my nieces or whatever were spread out this time. So I just threw myself into working. So I'm going to be grinding. So now will be a great opportunity. If you've ever wanted to comment and talk with me in the comments, this is one of the best times to do so. So the point that I'm trying to make is this. Let's see who, even if you are watching me on the replay, like I said, I want you to participate with me. And all of you guys that are watching me live right now, if you have ever wanted to start a nonprofit or you want to create some type of nonprofit, if you want to start one, I want you to say owner. Now this is specifically if you want to own a nonprofit. If you want to start a nonprofit organization or start a nonprofit business, I want you to say owner. If that is something that you are interested in and something that you would like to create. Hey, Seth is in the building. How are you doing today? All right, so Only Black Lives Matter, say that you want to do a nonprofit. What type of nonprofit would you like to do? Only Black Lives Matter. All right, Steve Harris says the same. That's good stuff. All right, so KC is an owner. You want to start a nonprofit. What type of nonprofit would you like to start, KC? All right, Phoebe wants to start one. What type of nonprofit would you like to start, Phoebe? David would like to start one. All right, 85 Truth would like to start one. Sabrina would like to start one. So what type of nonprofit would you guys like to start? So Tammy wants to start a foundation. And so in this video, we're talking about how you're able to start a nonprofit with no money. Now, a lot of you guys saying that you want to start a nonprofit. That's good stuff. You want to start one after you. So Patrick said that you want to start one after you establish your wholesale business. That's very good stuff. Soup kitchen to feed people is very good. El Money. El Money wants to start a soup kitchen. El Monty. Is that a T or L? My eyes playing tricks on me. Monty. M-O-N-T-Y. There we go. El Monty. All right, that's good stuff. All right, John says, what is a nonprofit business? We're about to talk about that in a moment. So a lot of people think of a nonprofit organization or a nonprofit business, meaning that you have to be broke. It means that a lot of people think that it is designed only for giving back. If you think that in order for you to have a nonprofit or to create a nonprofit, that is something that you're just giving, you're not getting any money from, and you have to be broke. If you've ever heard that before, if you've heard it before or you thought that, I want you to say, have heard, all right? So now, even if you're watching on the replay, like I said, I want you to make a mind muscle connection with me as if you're watching me live. I'm about to teach on how you're able to get funding and start a nonprofit. But I teach in specificity. I have to go line upon line, precept upon precept, because like I said, I own a consulting firm. So I'm not just somebody that's a YouTuber that makes YouTube videos for commentary. My words have weight to them. So the same way a boxer might have their hands licensed or as deadly weapons, when you are a consultant and you are giving out advice or you're coaching or you're speaking into somebody's life, you are bound by that. So that's something that I think a lot of people don't get because they're used to people who do YouTube who are just regular Joes that do YouTube. But as a consultant, I don't want to, like if, for instance, if a boxer punches you in the face, you can sue them and they can go to jail for assault with a deadly weapon. If a regular Joe punches you in the face, then it's not assault with a deadly weapon. Prime example, if a doctor cuts you and the doctor bleeds, if the doctor cuts you and you bleed and you die, that doctor can be sued for malpractice. But if a regular Joe cuts you and you bleed and you die, then it's just going to be considered manslaughter. If you guys understand that, if you get it, I want you to say, get it, all right? If you guys understand that and you get it, I want you to say, get it. So I'm teaching, I'm getting into my bag, I'm getting into my groove, guys. So for all of you guys that are watching on the replay, I appreciate you guys so much for dealing with me. All right, so Casey says, get it. Thank you so much for that. El Monte says, get it. Gang, thank you so much for that. Thank you for participating. Phoebe says, get it. That's good stuff. Only Black Lives Matter, get it. Thank you so much for that. So I'm breaking it down. So most of the time when people think about starting a nonprofit, they think that you have to be broke. I'm looking, a lot of people says that you have heard that. A nonprofit does not have to be broke, all right? At the end of the day, a nonprofit means that you make no profit. Make no profit. You guys know that when I teach, I'm very pedagogical when I teach. So let me see if I got, how much cash I got on me. I might not have much cash. I might be broke, busted and disgusted. How much cash I got on me? Hey, I got some money. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I got some money on me. Let's see how much money I got. I got dollars. Let me see. I think I got 300 on me. Okay, here we go. So here we go. I got $300, right? 300 bucks, right? Here we go. I have $300. Let me get this back. Boom. $300. So for the sake of teaching about a nonprofit, I'm going to teach about how a nonprofit works. Then I'm going to talk to you and show you how you're able to start a business, start a nonprofit business with no money. So here is $300, all right? So $300, right? 300 bucks. Let's say, for instance, let's use every $100 as $1,000. So if you had a $3,000 a month business, all right? Let's say that you have $3,000 coming in every single month. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, all right? Let's say that you have, this represents $1,000. If you spend $1,000 on your equipment, if you spend $1,000 on your office space, you spend $1,000 on your office materials and supplies, you have 2,000 left, right? 2,000 left. So out of this other 1,000, let's say you spend this other 1,000 for advertising and you spend for marketing, because a nonprofit is still a business that has to run. You have to turn the lights on, you have to do all of that. So you have fuel that you have to pay for if you're going to get people, if you're going to people's homes or whatnot, whatever it might be, business expense. So the inner workings. So the first $1,000 was just for, just say, the office space and everything else. All right, first $1,000. The second $1,000 is for the running of your nonprofit. Let's say your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill. Yes, nonprofits have to pay all of those bills too. All of that marketing material, everything. So now you have this last $1,000, right? So let's say out of this $1,000, you use this to pay people's salary. And if you are a small nonprofit, you can pay yourself that money. All right, so let's do the math again. Let's say this, let's look at it annually, all right? Let's look at this annually. So let's say, for instance, this is $30,000 for the year. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. So let's look at it for the entire year's aspect of it, okay? If you have $10,000 you spend for the entire year of running your business, all right? The other 10,000 that you use for the entire working of your business. The same last thing. The last 10,000 you use for salaries. So if you are a nonprofit organization, you're actually able to make up to, the average executive director can make up to I was upside down, can make up to $100,000 a year as an executive director. That's the average salary of an executive director, is $100,000 a year. So you can run a nonprofit organization and still profit in your salary, okay? The average executive director makes $100,000 a year. Some executive directors make over $200,000 a year. So if you knew that, if you knew that, I want you to say knew that. If you didn't know, I want you to say didn't know. Even if you're watching me on the replay, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it, all right? So if you knew that, that nonprofit organizations, that they could pay themselves a salary and the average salary is $100,000. You knew that, I want you to say knew that. If you didn't know, I want you to say didn't know. All right, so Casey says didn't know that. All right, Only Black Lives Matter says didn't know that. All right, Phoebe says didn't know that. El Monte knew that, that's good stuff. Robert did not know that. All right, so Who says great topic of discussion. You look classy this early morning. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you for that, Who's Who. All right, H. Walter says you knew that. Miguel says you knew that, that's good stuff. Patrick says you did not know that. All right, so Nelson said you knew that only from one of my previous videos. I appreciate that, Nelson. All right, you didn't know that? It could be that much, yes. It can be up to 100,000, and like I said, other people that they actually can go up to 200,000. The average is 100,000, but some can go up to 200,000. And then you're able to work out some other things as well that are considered nonprofits. Like you can have your nonprofit pay for your housing and different things like that. So I said all that to say this: a nonprofit organization, it is a lucrative business, all right? It is still a business. It has all the same bills. There's a difference between a nonprofit organization and 501c3 status, okay? Now, I have a course that is launching on December the 1st, which is called the 501c3 coaching. And that teaches you step by step on how you're able to create a nonprofit organization, get your 501c3 status, and your guaranteed $20,000 grant going through that course, okay? That starts December the 1st. Now, let me talk about the difference between a nonprofit organization and a 501c3 status, okay? There are a difference. Most of the time when people think of nonprofit, they automatically think of 501c3 status. 501c3 status is a code that you receive from the IRS, from the government, that means that you are considered tax-free. So that means that if an organization gives money to you or they give products to you, they get a tax credit for giving products to you, all right? You can be a nonprofit business on paper stating that at the end of the year, you're not gonna make a profit, but you're gonna break even. You can do that, but still not be tax free, still not have 501c3 status. If you guys understand that, I want you to say, got it. If you did not know that, I want you to say, wow, W-O-W. A lot of people that get into ministry, a lot of people that get into ministry, evangelists, bishops, pastors, elders, outreach people, they'll start a nonprofit organization because on paper you go through the Secretary of State, you select nonprofit status, meaning that I'm just going to give everything and I'm just going to be a blessing to everyone. But then they're saying, hey, give and donate and give to me, and it's a tax write-off, and just give because we're just going to help all the people, and we're just going to just help them and just be phenomenal assets to the world. And when you give to me, then you're going to get a tax credit, so give it to me. But if they don't go through the process of getting a 501c3 status, let me tell you something. That person, those companies, those individuals, they do not get a tax write-off. Hear me, guys, this is very important, because a lot of these people are believing God, and it's all right to believe God, but if you're going to believe God, you also got to believe in the laws of the land, huh? You got to obey the laws of the land. And if you're getting people to donate to you under the pretense that it's a tax credit, or they're going to get a discount on their taxes, or they can get a deduction, if you're not a 501c3, you got to stop immediately. Matter of fact, you ain't got to stop immediately. You need to stop immediately. Okay, you need to stop immediately, hear me, and get yourself in the position to get the 501c3 status. Now, getting 501c3 status can be difficult. That's why in my online course, I actually hold your hand and walk you step by step through the process of getting a 501c3 status so that you can start your nonprofit for free. All right, the way that you're going to start your nonprofit business is going to be through donations, all right? The way that you're going to start it is through donations. And the easiest, best way to get donations is to become 501c3 status, okay? If you guys are with me and you're ready for me to go to the next point, I want you to say with you. Let me go ahead and see where we at, guys. I see a lot of people commenting. If you're with me, I want you to say with you. All right. Adam says, what's my cut? What's my cut of what, Adam? For you to take my course, you pay for my course. You're going to pay to take my course. So that's my cut, is that you pay me for my course. That's how that works, Adam. When you ask me what that means. Yes, 85 South, you will see it on the website once it launches. On Cyber Monday, I'm actually going to allow people to register. We only have slots for 100 people because we're guaranteeing you these grants. So we can only make sure that we can facilitate 100 people for these grants. So Cyber Monday is only 100 people that'll be able to enroll into that program. So only Black Lives Matter says, wow, didn't know that. Yes, absolutely. Miguel says, well, got it, didn't know that. That's good stuff. Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. Got it. You got it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. You're with me. All right. You guys are with me. Absolutely. You are with me. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are with me. Absolutely. You're with me. I'm learning a lot. All right. And you've worked for both. Okay. That's right. Who's who. That's great. All right. That's good stuff. You are with me. So you guys are with me. All right. So now let's go forward a little bit more. Let's go another step. There are going to be some out-of-pocket expenses for you to start your nonprofit. So it's a misnomer. A lot of times when people say, start your business with no money, or, start a nonprofit with no money, that's a little disingenuous because it's going to cost you. What I mean by that is it's going to cost you filing fees for you to file with the Secretary of State. So the very first thing that you're going to have to do is when you go through and create your nonprofit, you're going to have to get your EIN. Now, getting your EIN number is free, all right? If anybody try to charge you for your EIN, that's because you're at a website that is not a business website. This is a reseller, somebody that's trying to do a bait and switch, or they're trying to charge you for an EIN. Your EIN is free, all right? However, in order for you to file your with the Secretary of State, when you file for the Secretary of State, the average fee is going to be the same thing as an LLC, which is going to be around $150 to $200. So here we go. You can do it through donations as well if you want to be, and you can be the first person to donate into your nonprofit. Now, when you are donating, or if somebody is donating and you don't have 501c3 status, they don't get it as a tax write-off, okay? I'm gonna tell you the importance of getting your 501c3 status. I'm gonna break this down because that's how you're going to get these big bucks, because we're talking about the reason for the season. I'm gonna give you guys some statistics. It's gonna blow your mind. Now, when you are donating for yourself, or your mama, your cousin, your sister, your brother, or even you're working a regular 9 to 5, and you say, you know what, I want to donate in this, or I want to do something for yourself, the cost is going to be like around $200 in most cases for you to get your to file your articles so that you can be a nonprofit. Okay. Now, once you file to get your nonprofit status, that's all the real funds that you're going to need up front before you become 501c3 certified, before you get your 501c3 status, okay? Now, this is very important. Now, in order for you to get these larger grants, hear me, in order for you to get your larger grants, in order to get Coca-Cola or General Motors, or Procter & Gamble, in order for you to get these large, huge grants that people just it seems like they throw away around this time of the year, you have to show that you are a viable business. This is a mistake that a lot of people make. When they think about starting a nonprofit, they think, oh, people are just gonna give me money because I'm a 501c3. No. So what happens is that there is a person who works at this for-profit organization. So for the sake of argument, let's use Coca-Cola. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, the land of the free, the home of the brave. So let's use Coca-Cola. There's an individual that works at Coca-Cola, and they are responsible for seeing where the funds go. Now what happens is, if the manager who is over the funds, if they look at your business or they look at your organization and they think that your business is going to go out of business, then you're not fundable for grants. Okay, so that is something that's very important. Now, in the process, within your first 12 months, you're going to have to structure yourself. I'm going to show you how, after you get your 501c3 status, I'm going to show you how you can get your first $20,000 grant. Through my course, I'm going to show you how to get your first $20,000 grant in 45 days after you get your 501c3 status. Okay, this is very important. In order for you to get your 501c3 status, the average time is going to take 90 days. Hear me. So if you believe in God and God has called you to do this, and you think that you're going to just get out there and just people are just going to give because you have this phenomenal cause, think differently. You have to use strategy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having faith. And the reason why I'm using these words is because most individuals, when they talk about a nonprofit, they're very philanthropic. They just want to give, and they're in it not for the money. They're in it because of the mission. Okay, and I get that. I understand that. At the same time, these lights need to be paid. You understand what I'm saying? These volunteers, even though you can get people to volunteer, you get what you pay for when it comes to your help. You need to be able to pay a person's wage, and I'm going to show you how to get there. Okay, so let me go back a little bit more. You're going to have some type of income for yourself. All right, you're going to have some type of income while you're building this nonprofit. You're not going to be able to quit your job and start a nonprofit tomorrow unless you are teaching or you know somebody that just has money that they just believe and trust into you. But I'm talking about the average Joe that thinks that, oh, I'm just going to contact Wells Fargo and Wells Fargo going to give me $20,000. Because this is the thing, all right? This is the statistics I want to show you guys. There are close to 100 million grants that are never given every single year. Over $100 million is never given because people aren't in the position to receive it. There are different type of grants that you can get from these organizations, and I haven't even started talking about government grants. Right now, I'm just talking about grants because these individuals, they want to give, they have to give. They have to get rid of this money. I'm not talking about government money. I'm talking about it's easier to get money from an organization than it is to get money from the government. All right? And I show you how you're able to do it. I'll show you where you're able to go to get your first grants. That's something that's very important. I'm gonna talk about government grants in a completely different video, just talking about government grants, but this video specifically is how to start a nonprofit with no money. I'll do a separate video talking about, government grants. But we're talking about grants from these for-profit companies, because guess what? At the end of every single year, these companies make hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have taxes in excess of tens of millions of dollars. So instead of them paying these taxes, they give money away as a tax write-off. Have you ever heard, like even in the music industry, have you ever heard people talk about things, they'll sign somebody or they'll do business with somebody because they're a tax write-off? If you've ever heard that before, I want you to say, heard it. If you've never heard that before, I want you to say, never have. Even if you're watching me also on the replay, I want you to participate with me, okay? All right, so Only Black Lives Matter asks, how do I get so smart? Because of books that you read, and because I am only smart on the things that I'm smart about. I don't know everything. I don't know brain science. I don't know brain surgery. I don't know. I know a lot. I know some psychology, but I don't know the inner workings of a lot of the master scholars. I don't know that. I don't know every theologian. But the things that I know about, I'm passionate about, and I'm laser focused on. I'm not a jack of all trades. I am a master of business development. And so because I've been operating in business development, like you guys know, my ex-wife is the most successful grant writer I have ever. She taught me, I learned so much just by watching her when it comes to the grant writing side of things. She is the most successful grant writer I have ever seen. And so the same way that I understand, and when we got married, she was, when we were on good terms, and when she got married, is when I do the mortgages, and I'm doing mortgages and I'm doing financing, and we're looking back and forth at the guidelines, and the guidelines are like so similar. And once I understood the nuances and I understood underwriting guidelines for getting a loan approved is very similar to the underwriting guidelines to getting grants approved, It's just business development. So somebody asks how, there's some things that I don't know nothing about. I'm single right now. I'm not an expert when it comes to marriage. That's something I'm not an expert on. But when it comes to this funding, when it comes to living this lavish lifestyle and living like a CEO or living like an executive director, I can teach that. That I can be, I'm smart about that. Those things I'm smart about. But some things I'm just not smart about. All right, so Ebony Knowledge says, heard of a tax write-off? Not with music, but for other things. Okay, that's good stuff. All right, so Sabrina heard of it. All right, that's good stuff. Memphis Bleak, absolutely. Memphis Bleak is a very popular individual that talks about that. I think his entire stuff is just done just because it was a tax write-off. All right, Rebel Person is in the building. Hey, Rebel Person, how are you doing? All right. All right, so Adam Hunt is in here trolling. And so we can let Adam Hunt troll because every comment he makes pushes up the algorithm. So I appreciate you, Adam. Thank you so much, Adam, for making us successful. Absolutely. We're not, as long as you're not doing anything that is tremendously terrible, we're just going to go in and let you troll and make us more successful. But if you become distracting, then, we're going to just go ahead and get you up out of here. But so let's go another further. So we're talking about specifically in this video on how you're able to start a nonprofit with no money. The fastest way for you to get money when you don't have any money is getting 501c3 status. So when you are a 501c3 status, that means that anytime someone gives to you, it's a tax write-off. If you are wanting to start a food bank or if you're wanting to start a food shelter, as soon as you become 501c3, as soon as you get 501c3 status, you can go to any single grocery store. This is very important, guys. Any single grocery store. Did you know that every single grocery store has perishable items that they throw away? And it can be things that aren't going to go bad. There are some things that go bad, but some things that are not going to go bad, they just want to get out. They just want to get them off the shelves. There can be some products that they try to sell for 99 cents and they don't want to sell them. So they just throw it away or they do it as a tax deduction. It's called depreciation. So every single grocery store just gives away food. Now this is very important. Even if you're wanting to do a nonprofit, let's say for instance, you do a nonprofit that is about economic empowerment, right? So you have a nonprofit and you teach people about finances and you have a networking event. You can have a nice classy networking event. You can have all these cocktails, you can have all these nice juices and punches. The entire event can be paid for with your 501c3 status. And they're going to give it to you. They're looking to give it away. But the problem is that people don't have their 501c3 status. And not only do they not have their 501c3 status, they do not have the proper foundation for larger grants. Because once you have been in business for 12 months and you have a proven track record, like in my course, I break it all the way down. But after you've been in business for 12 months, I show you how you easily get $200,000 grants. Easily, just like that. They just give it away. $200,000 grants. Easily, once you can show that you are a viable business. Because what happens is that, go back to the scenario of Coca-Cola. This individual for Coca-Cola has, let's say for instance, Coca-Cola has they have $3 million, okay? They have $3 million set aside just for the veterans and for the veterans. This is an organization that they just want to give to veterans. They have $3 million for veterans, all right? Let's say you've been in business for over a year. You have a nonprofit that's geared towards getting veterans housing. Watch this. They have $3 million set aside. All I want, Coca-Cola, is $1 million. For veterans, and they go through to see if it meets the qualifications, boom. Here go your $1 million for veterans and veteran affairs. If you guys understand that, they still have another $2 million, and a lot of times that other $2 million never gets touched because people aren't in the position to take it. They don't understand the underwriting guidelines. They don't structure their business the right way. They just start their business on a wing and a prayer thinking that it's gonna be okay, and they fail. And that's the reason why the 501c3 coaching is designed to show you step by step. One, you guaranteed $20,000 in your first year. After 45 days after you get your 501c3 status, you're going to get your first grant. Then after that, we show you how to structure yourself. So next year, boom, you're getting $200,000. It's just so easy. I have a buddy of mine. He just got awarded $60,000 from Wells Fargo. And he is a father's rights advocate. His nonprofit is called Fathers Are, what is it called? It's called Fathers Are Parents Too, something like that. And Wells Fargo just gave him $60,000 to go on tour. So he is a motivational speaker. He speaks to fathers. Wells Fargo just gave him $60,000 to go from city to city to speak. Wells Fargo just did that because it's towards the fathers, because it's about children's advocacy. If you guys understand that, now I'm not talking about government grants. Like I said, I'm going to do a completely separate video talking about government grants. Then I'm going to do a third video talking about corporate grants. I'm just talking about how you can start your nonprofit with no money, okay? So now this is the thing that's very important. The type of nonprofit that you start, it matters because there are different organizations. That are geared towards the mission. Remember, we talked about this in the beginning. Most people aren't into the nonprofit sector because they want the money. They're into the nonprofit sector because they want the mission. They're after the mission. So I want everybody right now to say mission, okay? I want everyone to say mission. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to say mission. I want everyone to say mission. Thank you so much for participating with me. John is participating. Thank you so much for participating. John, okay. Only Black Lives Matter says a mission. Thank you for that. All right, Novell says a mission. Thank you so much for that. Rebel says a mission. Thank you so much for that. Absolutely, you guys are with me. All right, Patrick says a mission. Okay, so when you know what your nonprofit is about, it's about the niche. It's very, very important, okay? Like for instance, the person was like, Dean, how did I get so smart? The only reason why I seem so smart is because I stay in my lane. I stay in my niche. I stay on what I am. I'm laser focused on, okay? Same thing when it comes to finding success as a nonprofit. If you want to help battered women and you want to feed the hungry, and then you also want to get backpacks to kids who don't have shoes, and your heart is this big, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't set up individual foundations, you're going to fail. All right, I'm telling you from the aspect of a business consultant that gets loans, that originate loans for a living, and that also helps with grants. Okay, if it's too broad, you're going to fail. All right, because you got to remember, even though you're giving your business, this business is from out of your mission. This business is out of what you're passionate about. The money is coming from a entrepreneur-minded individual, or it's coming from somebody that is managing a fund, and they need to make sure that it meets the criteria in which this fund manager needs. You understand what I'm saying? Let me break it down a little bit more. If you want to help the youth, I had a friend of mine who wanted to help inner city kids, inner city youth, inner city kids. And he went and tried to apply for grants all over the place, and he was wasting so much time. And he was applying for grants that they had nothing to do with the youth. He was applying for grants that was specifically for women. And so he was trying to argue the fact, he was wasting all this energy and effort arguing the fact that, well, they're young girls, but no, it's specifically, so what really made me really start to pull him to the side, like, look, you need to stop, was because he was trying to get me to gaslight him or get him fired up about trying to go after this grant, because there was this grant that I think was like $40,000 for general operating for battered women, okay? Specifically for battered women. And so and his business was around kids, inner city kids. He was trying to go and argue and plead the case and all this other stuff. And I was like, bro, you gotta stop. You just have to stop. You just must stop. And so instead, I said, what programs do you want to do specifically for inner city kids? One of the things that he wanted was, he wanted them to get education on how to get jobs. So he wanted them to get education on how to get jobs. What he did was he went to a clothing company, a large department store. They're no longer in business, and they donated clothing for them to be able to go to get resumes. Once he took photos showing what he was doing, and his website was a professional clean website, and because he got suits and shirts and dresses and blouses, you can take that dollar amount. And when he took that dollar amount and he calculated the dollar amount, no, he didn't physically get $20,000 in cash money, but he got $20,000 worth of clothing. He put that on a I apologize, somebody just messaged me. He put that on a grant that he was applying for, and guess what? When they saw that he got $20,000, they physically saw what the money was for. He ended up turned that relationship, and he got close to another $50,000 of cash that he could use for his program. But I helped hone it in specifically on things that were geared toward the inner city youth. If that makes sense, if you guys understand it makes sense, I want you to say make sense. All right? So once again, he got $20,000 in clothing, and when he went and he applied and he was writing his letter to the grantor and explaining what he's been doing, and he was like, such and such, this Fortune 500 company gave me $20,000 in grant funds for clothing, because they saw that, and then they physically saw the clothing. They saw the kids, and they saw the kids talking about their experience, and they saw the kids getting jobs. Then they just started to pour money, because what happens is that when you're getting grant money, they're not looking to give you a hand out. They're looking to give you a hand up. Okay? Like for instance, there's a troll that's trolling and making foolish comments on this video. And this video is clearly about Black excellence. This video is clearly about the grown and sexy talking about how to start their business and grow their lives. But this feeble-minded individual that's trolling this video, they are wasting and squandering this opportunity to learn. The same mindset people have when you give them money, all right? The reason how come I don't like to give out a lot of free courses is because people don't value it. Right? So when people don't value your information, they tend to squander it. You guys know this, all right? If my fathers that are in the building, my mothers that are in the building, when you give your kids something, a lot of times they don't value it. Whether you are dating someone or you're someone's spouse, when you give sometimes, a lot of times if they don't see what you had to go through to get it, they squander it. Same thing happens with funds. It's not the lottery. So even though it's called free, people talk about it's free money, it's not the lottery. They're not just gonna give you money so you can just go to Punta Cana, or you can just fly to the Maldives and ball out of control like, oh, I'm an executive director doing the executive director style. No, that's CEO lifestyle, not executive director style. You understand what I'm saying? We talking about CEO lifestyle, not executive director style. There's a difference, okay? So that's something that you have to understand. When I am coaching a lot of pastors, when I'm coaching a lot of faith-based organizations, I have to change the way that they think and the way that they understand when it comes to the business side of things. Like, yes, Jehovah God, yes, Buddha, yes, Allah, yes, whatever organization you believe in is for the people. At the same time, when it come time to pay your light bill, what you gonna tell them when it's come time to pay your light bill? All right, when it comes time to put fuel in the church bus, or in the mosque bus, or in the organization's bus to go pick up the people, what you gonna tell the people at Texaco? You gonna tell them just give it to me for free? No. So you have to understand the business aspect and the business mindset of things too. And so that's the one thing, is that yes, they're going to give you a hand up to further your mission, but they're not going to completely fund it all the way from the get-go. I'm going to tell you that right now off the back. You're going to have to leverage. You're going to have to go and leverage things. So instead of you getting, for individuals, I'm gonna give you a freebie. For individuals that want to help out veterans, okay? One of the best ways to make a multi-million-dollar business in nonprofit is through veteran housing. So you might want to get a $100,000 grant. Instead of you getting a $100,000 grant, you know what? You can go to a bank and they will give you a whole house. They will give you a whole house. It's a tax write-off anyway. They'll give you a whole house. You fix up the house, you get somebody in the house, and they're paying for it. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So sometimes when you're starting your nonprofit and you're starting your nonprofit from scratch without any money, a lot of times when people think about grants or getting things, they're thinking about tangible, they're thinking about cash, they're thinking about cash money. They're thinking about cash money, but it can also be physical, tangible things. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of me getting the $500 that this bulb costs, what if you just gave me the bulb and I take the $500 and I write it off of my taxes? If you guys understand that, I want you to say, got it. Let me do a temperature check. Let me do a temperature check. And my tablet is about to go out. And I gotta make a phone call. It's getting late. Thank you guys so much for participating. All right. Absolutely, John Johnson, Habitat for Humanity. Yes, people take it for granted. Absolutely, Ebony Knowledge. People take it for granted. All right, 85 Truth says got it. Sabrina says got it. Novert says got it. Miss B says got it. Greg Quayle says got it. Casey says got it. Nelson says got it. Thank you so much for participating. Only Black Lives Matter says got it. Tammy Morton says they got it. Brian Williams got it. All right, Johnson Maurice says grants is the start. Grants, what? Grants is the start gentrification. Just rewrite that. I'm not sure what you meant by that. Rewrite that. I think he was typing too fast. And it's okay, I make mistakes all the time too. So rewrite that. I think it would kind of... so you can merge. No, it's not merging. It's they actually have nonprofit housing. Yes, you can have a whole apartment complex that's geared towards. It's nothing but a shelter. You can do that. There is a beautiful organization that I worked with in Atlanta that's called Hope. It's housing. It's housing. What does Hope stand for? It's HOPE. It's an organization in Atlanta, Georgia. You can look it up. I contracted with them like 10 years ago, and I helped them build up their business development side. And she just got $250,000 grant from from FHA. What does Hope stand for? Hope for Humanity is housing, outreach, power, and education, something like that. They have an actual apartment complex in the inner city of Atlanta. So it was an apartment complex that's in the hood that was like vandalized. It was like completely burnt up, and a lot of people were sleeping. A lot of vagrants were sleeping, and they did transitional housing for people that were on the street, that were homeless. And they had their offices, which were off of Martin Luther King, and then the site for the apartment complex was like around the corner, and we used to go back and forth from around the corner. And it's like, it was the hood. As soon as you turn right, it was a beautiful apartment complex that they used government funding to rehab. And there were 1-bedroom apartments, and they had these different programs that help educate people, and it was just a wonderful different program. They had gardeners that were on site, so it was like hood, and then as soon as you turn left, you see this beautiful apartment complex, and all through government funding and all through government financing. Now, the real money is to be the holding company that buys the real estate and then sell it to the nonprofit. That's where the real money is. Y'all ain't happy. That's when your general contracting business is separate from your nonprofit business. Y'all ain't happy. All right, so that's just a little bit of something. All right. All right. So Only Black Lives Matter says, you know this dude in Detroit. He let the drug addicted folks live in apartments. He has a nonprofit. Absolutely, that's good stuff. All right. John Johnson says that you're blocked. I don't understand what you mean when you say you're blocked, John Johnson. All right. Says no such thing as free money. Nope, it is. There is no such thing as free money, but people use that. It's such thing as free money. All right. All right. So that being said, there's a lot of different avenues and a lot of different ways that you can really, take it and be lucrative with it. But the entire purpose for this video was just simply to talk about how you're able to start a nonprofit with no money. The way you're going to start a nonprofit with no money is you're going to have to immediately go towards your 501c3 status, all right? You're going to have to get it. Now, that can be very intimidating to a lot of people. The reason why it's intimidating to a lot of people is because it's the IRS and they scrutinize a lot of things. And so in my course, I walk you step by step and I show you the process of how to create a nonprofit, how to get your 501c3 status, how to get your first grant, and then also how to get business credit and funding so that while you're waiting for your grant dollars to come in and while you're building your business and structuring your business, we'll show you how you can qualify for a lot of those larger operating grants, okay? So there's also some things that are specific grants that are for specific things. Like there's some grants that specifically, like we talked about food, or there's some grants that are specifically for paying utility bills. There's some grants that are specifically for utility bills, but then you get what's called a general operating grant, and the general operating grant, you can just use it for whatever you want to use it for. It's very important that you cannot commingle funds if you are in the infant stages of your nonprofit. That is the easiest way to get caught up into embezzlement. The easiest way for you to lose your freedom when you come dealing with embezzling money. So if you, prime example, let's give an example. If you get a grant, let's say you get a grant from Johnson & Johnson. Say Johnson & Johnson wants to give out a grant to pay your utility bills for a year. And let's say your utility bills for the year happens to be $20,000. And you take that $20,000 that is set aside specifically for your utility bills, and you use it to go take a business trip, or you use it to go buy this Louis bag, or you use it to go and fund something else, and you get audited, head chopped off, do not pass go, embezzlement, go straight to jail. So you have to use, so when certain grants, now granted, you're like, Dean, but they gave me $20,000. So it's not like child support. Watch this. These ladies swear up and down, oh, well, I mean, I'm using my money to pay for my nails, or I'm using my money to pay for it anyway, so you give me the money for child support and I use it for what I want to use it for, and I call it child support. It's not like that when you're dealing with this grant money. When this money comes in, it has to be specific for what that specific need is, and that's how I think child support should be. I think if you're saying that the child needs money, like, let the child support should go to paying specific things for the child. Like, if, okay, you need food for the baby, boom, child support goes straight to a card that can only be used for food. The baby need Pampers, boom, child support goes straight to a card that can only be used for Pampers. Not to go get your nails done, not to go take your bummy boyfriend to go see the Nets play, or take your bummy no good boyfriend to go buy some new gray sweatpants, and it ain't what that's for. And they say, well, it's my money anyway, and I just spent it and got it back. No. I think that it should be like grants, to where this money, okay, it goes towards rent. Okay, boom, this money goes specifically towards a portion of the rent. All right, so okay, my baby is there with you. Okay, a small portion goes specifically for housing, or so that's how I think child support should be. If child support was like that, it would be a lot of less people running around here having babies as a paycheck. You'll have a lot less people. If child support was like that, how it should be for the welfare of the child, it would be a lot less people that's trying to have these babies and trying to trap us successful men. I'm just saying, it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. But guys, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. I wanted to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, whether you might believe in that or not, whether you might celebrate that or not. The reason for the season is for you to be with family. The reason for the season is for you to be grateful for the things of God. The reason for the season is for you to be grateful for your mind, grateful for what's about to come. What happened in the past and what the original use of it was for, you can argue that all day long with your woke uncle, or you can argue that all the way down, all the way with your woke auntie while you eating that chicken and collard greens, and macaroni and cheese and cornbread, or you can just completely let it go and just focus on enjoying your family. So listen, guys, I just wanted to touch bases with you guys about the reason for the season being a nonprofit, because a lot of people are feeling very philanthropic around this time of the year for multiple reasons. One, because you're around family. 2, because it's cold outside, people need resources. 3, for the CEOs and tax season, at the end of the year, they need to go ahead and get some of these tax credits. So guys, that's it. Listen, the only person stopping you from being successful is you. If you do not know it, you can learn it. If you have not met them, you can meet them. If you want to be successful and you want to build something, build it. Position yourself, learn it. Overcome the obstacles that's stopping you. You know what they are. Be man enough, be woman enough to overcome the negative habit that's stopping you from being successful. Go get them. Success is waiting for you.